Hey, crypto heads, it's the Goose with the Cryptic Paranormal Show. Welcome to another awesome Thursday. Let me actually unmute everybody. That would help. There we go. Denise,
Hey,
how you doing?
great.
Hey.
Huh?
How's your week, man? What's up,
It's
Zach? Our special guest is up there.
Shut up.
that
There you
he's
go.
been waiting to say
Nice.
that.
Yeah, everybody loves saying that when they get on the show. But it's been kind of a crazy week on my end. Work's been busy. I know Denise has been going nuts. I see
Yeah,
her post all these houses you're knocking out of the park.
yeah. I don't always knock them out of the park. Today was a bad day, but
Oh
it's
no.
fine. We don't have that sometimes.
Yep.
It was 1:30 in the afternoon, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready for bed. It's been such a long day. And I look at the clock and it's 1:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, oh, it's a good day. It's all
So
right.
yeah, as you guys are all already typing in, we are missing our Heisenberg tonight, but he is celebrating his birthday. I guess he figured that he's got better things to do than celebrate his birthday with
Right?
us, but
You-
we don't blame him, frankly. He's having a good time with family, just spending time at home and chilling out with his boys, celebrating his birthday. Old man.
Well, according to John Ward, he's chilling at Jimmy John's. So
Probably, man. I
I
wouldn't
mean,
doubt it.
he loves them cold cuts. So
That's right.
And some Zach Moore said, "Hey, it's me."
yep, I don't know who that guy is. Must be stalking me. I don't know.
Weird.
So we had the pleasure of meeting Zach a couple months ago when we were investigating an undisclosed location we can't talk about, and it was really cool meeting you. He's a great investigator. It was cool working with him. We kind of broke up into our own groups, so I didn't get to work with him a whole lot until like the end when we were all kind of in the same room. But real solid investigator, and I just thought it'd be a good time to get him on the show. I was wondering. So, like, we always ask our guests when they come on what their origin story is. Like, how did you get into this thing? Like, give us the deep, dark secrets that started this off for you.
So it goes all the way back to June 3rd of 2003. I was a 17-year-old kid walking in a cemetery by myself. It was a very, very hot day. It was like 90 to 95 degrees.
Ooh.
Back then, I was like running track and stuff in school. I'd done like about a 4 mile walk / jog that day. Didn't want to overdo it. Went through, walking through the cemetery. Out of nowhere, I just felt like a push in my right shoulder. Got up, looked around. No one was with me. Heard footsteps running for me in the gravel. Didn't really think anything of it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's hot. I'm exhausted, probably dehydrated. Whatever.
Yeah, sure.
You know, get home. Didn't think anything of it. Ripped off my shirt, getting ready to hop in the shower. I noticed in my peripheral a right handprint actually burnt into my skin where I was put.
Wow.
Mark lasted about 6 to 7 weeks.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah. I was the type, I didn't believe in any of this. Not to sound like a famous / infamous paranormal investigator on TV who has my namesake, but I didn't believe in ghosts until I came up.
I was going to actually call you that name by accident when I introduced you today.
I probably would have hit end call and walked away from everybody.
That's why I didn't do it.
But yeah,
I'm sorry I interrupted you. Uh-oh, we lost her.
No, you're good. But ever since then, just doing a lot of investigating, researching, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have hundreds of locations under my belt, but I just keep to myself, like that's me, See me on social media, I'm very, very quiet, but I know John Ward's met me and Denise has met me at Madison a few times in person.
Okay, cool.
Pretty high energy, pretty in your face, but I keep a low profile and I like it that way.
No, yeah, that's cool. I mean, a lot of people are going that way now. Do you have like a group you work with, or is it just you go where you go with whoever?
I've been working behind the shadows with a group over in East Liverpool. They're called Ohio Ghost Chasers. It's ran by Kimberly Mitchell. I've done that. I've worked with History Haunts and Legends tours since about 2010. They actually do ghost walks in the village of Hanoverton. They moved about 3 years ago. I started doing the tours on my own. And then they actually just came back. A lot has happened in my personal life over the last few months. Yeah. It's really kind of perfect timing, but they came back. I turned everything back over to them, and I'm looking to get some tours and stuff started here where I live currently. And I'm bringing back the YouTube channel. I'm going to start filming again and stuff this winter.
Awesome, man.
I had a YouTube channel, Z's Paranormal Expeditions, where I did everything 100% solo.
Wow. That's awesome.
One of the places was actually Madison Seminary.
Cool.
I did that by myself, and I did Fairfield by myself, a couple of local places, and the grounds of the unattainable golden nugget of the paranormal, Molly Stark Sanatorium.
Nice.
So,
yeah, that's definitely on my bucket list.
Oh yeah, can you actually get in there now, or is it just kind of walking around the?
I did the grounds. Yeah. Go in, you're gonna get busted. Like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I didn't know if they were like what the deal with that place was. If they're like still trying to sell it, or they're trying to rebuild it, or what the hell they're doing with it. Right now, it just stands there, as far as I know.
Stands there, has a fence around it. Go in, you'll spend a night in Stark County Jail.
Oh yeah,
right.
Okay.
It ain't worth it. It's not worth the fine.
I never suggest anybody trespass. Don't do it.
Right.
Yeah. Don't do it. Just
we're trying to save these buildings, not make them.
Yeah.
It's just a dick move. We're being honest.
What's up, Brian? So Matthew Bradley had a question for us. Do any of you guys research Bigfoot in Ohio? I read about it, and I mean I read the stories that come through. I do research Bigfoot sightings, lore, whatever you want to call it. But I get into it. I haven't physically gone and done it yet, which it's coming. It's coming soon.
I'd totally be down. Let's go. I'd totally be down for it, but I have yet to go.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, for me, it was like a lot about my physical problems that, my health problems that I've been dealing with. Just like, I could barely get around Madison more than one time a night. So, going out and walking in the woods for miles on end.
Right.
It just, because you go all that far, you got to get back. So
right.
Just afraid. So I've actually lost like 60 pounds since June. And
good job, bud.
Thanks, man. Just started a workout regimen. So I'm getting real about it because I want to do this stuff. I want to be able to keep up with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like, I miss going and hiking. Like I used to just hike for hiking's sake. We used to go backpacking and all kinds of stuff. And I haven't been able to do it. So I need to get back into that.
Just like ghosts, I didn't believe in Bigfoot until I actually saw one about 8 years ago.
Shit.
8 years ago.
Mind if I ask where you saw that?
Near Camp McKinley. It's the old scout camp just outside of Lisbon, Ohio.
Okay.
I was back on Furnace Road. My daughter was with me. I was changing a song on my phone, and she's like, "Daddy, who's that man in the road?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Daddy, there's a big hairy man in the road." And I perk my head up, look up. Sure as shit, crap. Sorry, guys. I don't want to get us banned.
You won't, dude. Nobody cares.
There's a figure.
Just fucking say it.
Easily, okay. There's a figure. This thing was at least 7.5, 8 feet tall.
Shit.
Made eyes with me. It actually jumped off the ledge. The ledge was probably about 12 to 14 feet. I went back next day in the daylight, and there was there we go. About this big. I know it's hard to see because camera and stuff.
Right.
But the foot was about a 20-inch imprint.
Holy crap, dude.
Yep. And
That's
then
nuts.
one night doing a paranormal event in Hanoverton, we heard long story short, we ended up here in the Ohio Howl. And that was a fun night too, because I was with the historian for Small Town Monsters. They did the Minerva Monster movie, Beast of White Hall, and a few others. And their historian, Heather, was with me that night. And she was like, it figures. We're doing a ghost hunt and we encounter Bigfoot.
Right.
But,
yeah, it looks like you're going to go you're going to actively look for Bigfoot and run into a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's one thing I've never had happen yet, but
yeah.
I'm going to say, to paraphrase the movie Armageddon, that's a big ass sky out there, and I think there's nothing else out there with us.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, some of the images we get back from these telescopes they have there, like that one shot that just became like viral, that of all the bright universe. I mean, those are all galaxies, and all those galaxies have planets and stars, and it's like, don't tell me there's not other life out there.
Yeah, it's so naive and small-minded.
Right. Sorry, I'm sharing this out. I'm trying to get us some more viewers.
No, is my internet not working?
You're like freezing up, and then it's kind of like off with your audio. Denise is breaking up. It wouldn't be a show without one of us having issues.
I figured it'd be me, but you know.
Last week it was the audio and me like I kept getting signed off. Darren Smith wants to know what's happening.
Hey, not a lot.
Yeah, John Ward said there's multiple dimensions within all those galaxies. Mind blown. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's crazy to sit here and think, like, when you really go down the rabbit hole of everything.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm on the road a lot. I mean, I'm at Patience in between. But when I'm driving, especially if it's a long drive, like I was out your direction like all day. I think it was Tuesday. And, you know, when like when I get out that far, it's usually only 2 or 3 stops that I have because I'm coming from Independence, the Cleveland area.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of time to think, man. I mean, you know, we've talked to people we talked to Tom Wortman, who's like the head of the Ohio MUFON group. And when we had him on the show like a couple years ago, he's talking about how he was, you know, looking to the sky with his friend. They were like kind of tracking this UFO that they couldn't figure out, and they see Bigfoot. They saw evidence of Bigfoot. He disappears, and then the UFO rises out and then shoots off. So it's like, okay, now we're looking at something completely different.
Yeah, and yeah. You've got to, I don't want to offend anyone, but you got to be one really close-minded person to think that where it's just us.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot of those people.
Yeah, even if you get into the theology of everything, like, yeah.
Right. Like the fact that the Egyptians had like hieroglyphics that mimic UFOs and aliens, and you know, all these Native American cave drawings and stuff. Where did that come from? They didn't just all make it up all around the world and tell each other, hey, write this on the wall, it'll be funny in 500 years.
Right.
And it's the same with a lot of the cryptids. A lot of these cryptids that people don't believe in or say there's no way that can be true. Because I still don't, I'm on the fence. I don't know either way. I haven't had an experience or besides maybe some tree breaks and hearing some whoops out in the middle of the woods at night, which could have been anything really. I haven't had that experience, but I'm still thinking this is a big world. There's a lot of untouched places still. And even where we live, like in Ohio, there's a lot of forests still. There's a lot of places to hide. There still could be something out there. But when you go back and you talk to these people, like Native Americans, they have stories of interacting with these beings that go back hundreds of years before we even set foot here.
Right.
Or, I mean, even across the world. and they have like you said, hieroglyphics, whatever they're called, hieroglyphics.
I said it just like that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And cave drawings and pictures, and it's
right.
It's insane to think that there's not something to it.
Right.
Right.
Even down this way, I just uncovered this story. I'm really, really diving into it more. But whenever General John Hunt Morgan from the Confederacy was actually going through this part of Ohio, he and his men actually allegedly encountered what we would call a Bigfoot. And this is Civil War time, 1863.
Okay.
So that's one story. I'm really, really diving into it, but
right,
it'd be a fun one to look into.
Yeah.
It's interesting to read these stories and these accounts from ages and ages ago. I mean,
right.
Whether he's real or it's real or not, I mean, it's still cool that this story is so legendary that it's been handed over and over and over again through generations. That there's very little deviation from what the beast is or what the spiritual being is. That's the only thing that drives me insane about it. Is it like a spiritual being? Is it like we were talking like an alien life form, or is it just an unclassified animal that's walking around the woods?
Right. Like John. Yeah, Morgan's from Tennessee. He was actually captured. Yeah. Yep. That was actually just over in Dungannon area. Dungannon, West Point. That's down by my area. That's my neck of the woods.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I know Sage was our friend Sage Gatto, who also was with us that night. We got to meet him. He was talking about something that was connected to Confederate or a soldier in Tennessee that he had identified with. I don't know if that's the same one. I can't remember specifically, but
good old Sage.
That I might have to look it up because it's come up on 2 shows. Pretty deep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sage is a fun kid. I really like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome. And actually, I think we need to have him on the show quick.
You do. It's crazy how young he is. And he's so mature, so valid, but still always trying to learn more. It's truly admirable that a 22, 23-year-old kid is this into it. And, wants to learn more.
And we're seeing quite a bit of that, even with some content creators. Like we had Kalani, and he's a really great guy, and he's pretty. I like the way he really kind of dives into the history of these locations he goes to, and that's if you watch his videos, a lot of his videos are just that, just like showing the pictures of these places with the stories, and every once in a while he does a little quick investigation work with him, but he goes down deep rabbit holes that. I'm glad to see that it's kind of getting away from what people are doing on TV into people actually going out and experiencing it and taking the history seriously.
And wanting to learn the genuine history.
Right.
Not just
and being open-minded enough to, do different experimentation, use different methods, knowing that one thing's not always going to work at the next place or even at the same place. It's just I think I have hopes and feelings that the field is starting to slowly go in the right direction again.
Yeah. I honestly believe that it's going to be the next generation that makes huge progress in the field just because, we're all kind of us old folks, we're all kind of stuck on our ways, and we use the same equipment, different versions, but these kids, man, they understand technology better than we ever can. And they are going to invent something that just blows us out of the water. I'm a firm believer.
There's one thing I really want to try, and I know it sounds kind of silly, but I really want to try the Christmas light Ouija board from Stranger Things.
Right.
I really want to try that.
Yeah, I have that. I'm going to probably, That's the only Ouija board that I own, and actually, my wife bought it for me as a joke. I haven't even like used it yet. But I'm gonna. I think next time I go on a ghost hunt, I'm gonna break it out and we'll see what happens. Because I imagine it doesn't.
Actually, it doesn't light up.
No, the mine doesn't. But it's like a picture of the wall, like how she had like the letters set up, and it's like the lights connecting them, so it looks like it.
That's cool.
Yeah, you were talking about like the history, like the genuine history and stuff. I've noticed, like I said earlier, I've done this for a long, long time. And even over the past 15 years, there's quite a few places that I've been many times, usually once or twice a year, every year.
Yeah.
And the history just changes.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it be genuine changes that it's done through research or whether it be
medicine,
hey guys, this is getting stale, let's change this or let's change that, or and those are the places that I've really, really strayed away from. There's one place,
and I agree.
I'm not going to mention any names, I'm not going to call anyone out, but there's one place that I will never go to just because a lot of stuff has changed.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I think I might know what you're talking about. But no, I know what you're saying, and I think some things are just like I've taken tours before investigations where I didn't learn really anything about the actual history. All I heard was encounters of the paranormal stuff. Like 90% of it was that, and honestly, Ed had already heard most of on like 5 TV shows already.
Right.
So it's like, okay, like I wanted to learn about this building, so I have actual tools to work with when I am doing EVPs or something like that. It's just regurgitated bullshit. And they had a couple, one place in particular, the guy's like all into like this one specific type of spirit creature thing that was supposed to come. He's like, oh, here it comes right now. And we debunked it right away. And it was, and then I fell for it later on that night too, because I walk around the corner as a fucking raccoon in the shadow of the moon coming off the front porch. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But, I don't know. It's just,
sorry.
You all right?
Oh, I'm sorry. John Moore's comment.
Oh, really?
Oh, no.
I'm guessing it's a no by the way he's laughing.
Hard no.
That's funny though.
Guy was like Vanilla Ice reincarnated into 2022. Sideways, he had baggy ass sweatpants, t-shirt that was 10 sizes too big, dropping yo and dog into everything that he said, talking about having like an EM. Yeah, I'm just gonna shut up.
There's some talk. There's some talk going on a little bit, just everybody kind of agreeing that the Ouija board is not the dark portal of communication that the movies and TV shows make it out to be. I just wanted to point that out real quick.
Yeah. And again, back to history too, since Mr. Ward here got me sidetracked. History is possibly the most important thing aside from actually investigating. Like even me as a history major, history tells why a place could be haunted. Prison,
right?
Inmates, death, beatings, hard feelings, hard time, everything else. Asylums, mentalist, mentalist. You're not going to have like some random ass doctor haunting Mansfield Reformatory. It's going to be like, why is this place haunted?
Right.
And yeah, I think it's important. It helps you in your investigation too. I tell people at Madison, if you're going into a place where maybe people weren't treated very well, then you don't want to go in a big group and put all of your equipment in the middle of the group of strangers and be like, hey, can you turn this on? No, you probably should put it away from you, separate from each other, be in smaller groups, whatever. Even something as simple as sitting down on the floor instead of standing up makes you less intimidating. You know, you have to, you kind of have to know the history of a place to be able to investigate. I mean, unless you're psychic and already know, but for us normal people.
Right. Like, I'm told I'm pretty intimidating. I mean, I don't think I am. I'm basically a giant effing teddy bear, but I mean, you know, I've had communications with spirits that said that they're intimidated by me, and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure why, but
well, it's the other thing too. You might look like somebody that used to work there, or you might look like somebody who used to treat them poorly. You know what I mean? It's not always about how you actually look physically in terms of like how tough you are. It might just be you bring up a bad memory for them.
Right, and that's like at OSR. There was a spirit there that actually said that I reminded them of a guard that used to work there a long time ago.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I think too, because I did work corrections for a short time. So.
Oh wow. Yep. So there was that connection.
A brief one.
That's the kind of stuff I like to hear.
Yeah, this was after this had happened, but I worked healthcare for a lot of years and then corrections. I actually worked in Youngstown doing corrections. Okay. Loved it. Loved the job. Loved what I did. Had a lot of respect and everything, but I was getting 3 or 4 days off a month, and about 6 months of that burned me out.
Oh yeah. I would imagine.
Yeah.
I watched 60 Days In, so I know all about what you went through. Just kidding. Sidebar: I am hooked on that show. I just found it. Like, it was on one of the seasons was on Netflix, and I started watching it. Now I'm like,
I still have never watched it.
Searching the streams for like all the seasons that I could find. It's pretty ridiculous. It's so much. It's like every other reality show, though. It's just filled with drama and these people complaining. I'm like, you put yourself in a situation where you're getting thrown in jail for 60 days. Don't complain about the food. You knew going in what jail's like. You have to.
Right.
But, yeah. I haven't seen any of the newest season, man. I watched the last one that was on Netflix, and I'm starting all over with season 1. So, but yeah, sorry, total digression. I apologize. That's what I do.
You're good.
I was going to say you're apologizing. Why? That's what we do.
Ray, shut up. Quit apologizing.
Yeah, right. Well, usually I have Heisenberg down there just sitting like, no. So I see that sign, and I'm like, okay, I got to get back onto the paranormal real quick. Here.
Right. I agree.
George said you have to be receptive. Yeah, you have to be receptive of the spirit suit. Yeah, you do. Everybody wants them to do something physical.
Right.
But
I always tell people too, like if your goal is to just get, something physical to happen, if you want to get scratched or whatever, then by all means walk into a room and act like an asshole puffing your chest, but if your goal is to genuinely communicate and genuinely learn stories, then that's what you have to do. You have to be receptive. You have to understand how they lived, when they were alive, so you can understand what you're up against.
Yeah.
Agreed. Penn said, true story. I met Zach about 3 years ago at a public at Hillview. I knew he went to West Virginia State Penitentiary the night prior through Facebook. He was talking about it, and I talked with him, and he was like, holy shit, I know you.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of the devil, there's our buddy Sage Gatto just popping right in now.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, well, hello.
Yeah.
Shut up, Sage.
What's up, buddy? We were,
oh my God, don't watch the replay, Sage. We were talking so much shit.
Dude, that was bad. I said that Sage, I said that Penn State needs to be just completely barred from the NCAA. Like, yeah, Penn State just needs to go away. Take Paterno, take Sandusky, take them all with them.
It's pretty sad. I haven't watched any college ball this year, but I've hardly watched any NFL ball either, so I guess it doesn't really. It's just one of those years I don't have time for sports, unfortunately, right now.
Yeah.
Unless I can hear it on the radio.
I'm a Vikings fan. My games are never on TV over here, so.
Yeah, I'm Cleveland's arch. I'm a fan of Cleveland's arch nemesis, so I don't really talk about it a whole lot.
I mean, there's like 3 of them, so.
Yeah, right.
That's true, because we have the Ravens here.
I'm sorry, as my people say, Pittsburgh.
Okay.
The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep. I was gonna say you're either a Yinzer, a chowder eater, or a Cincinnati fan who thinks they're from Ohio, but it's really Kentucky.
Right. Yeah, right. John said, "I don't blame you for watching the Steelers or not watching the Steelers." Yeah, they're horrible. They're trash.
I mean, the Browns are kind of in the same boat right now too, though.
Yeah, but the Browns are always in the same boat. So
yeah.
The Browns, I mean, as a team so far, they look great. They just need to close. I mean, always.
I was going to say, right up until the end, they look great.
Yeah. The last 2 minutes, not so much, but the rest of the game, not bad.
That's on having a very, very inexperienced coaching staff too, though.
That's true. You beat the Steelers. That's your one win for the year.
I think they have 2 wins. I think.
Do they?
Yeah, they do because they beat. I think they beat Carolina.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Carolina and.
How could I forget that one? That's
Yeah.
Because their quarterback is doing stellar, and I just heard that he's out hurt for a while now. So Baker. All right. Well, anyways, enough about. Football. What are we talking about? What's this show about, anyways?
We're talking shit about Sage.
Oh yeah.
Sage,
you know how we say don't be an asshole?
Yeah.
It's like our saying, but he doesn't listen very well. I'm just kidding.
He's probably trying to figure out how to watch the replay right now. Like, you got to wait till the show's over.
You know, Goose, it's kind of fun. The tagline on my very first video that I made on YouTube was, be a good person. Don't be an asshole. Nobody likes an asshole. And I didn't even know that was your saying until
we kind of didn't even know either.
Yeah.
Just kind of started.
Oh yeah, ask nice about funerals. Yeah, that'll take the rest of the time up.
And I had a margarita today. Don't ask me about shit like that.
Yeah,
all right,
one drink and she's like,
I'm curious now.
What's that?
What's the backstory? I'm curious.
I'm just not a fan of funerals. And I went on a tangent for probably like 30, 45 minutes one time. And I kept going, and one more thing, and then I'll stop talking about it. And I did not stop talking about it.
Darren's like, no, don't.
Right?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Sage just left the building. He hasn't even said anything. Oh. There he is. No, we were actually talking very nice about you, Sage, how wonderful it was to meet you and all that shit. So,
no, we weren't.
No, we weren't. You'll have to watch it in the replay, buddy. Sorry, you were late.
That's typical Sage. He's always late.
Sage said, "Shut up, Zach. I'm at work."
Go sling that drywall, buddy.
Oh, Dennis, what's up, buddy?
Feeling.
Right. No, I've never done it. I've been too afraid, to be honest with you. Like,
I'm a chicken shit. I can't take anything. Right?
Yeah, for like,
nope.
Like I remember the Emmett Inn, like, after that unfortunate accident where the whole building burnt down, our friend Jeff Fent was very deeply connected to that building. And the lady that owned it, and seeing what he went through was horrible, but he was like, she was letting him like sell, or not sell, but give away like bricks and things that were able to be salvaged from the building. And I remember I wanted one so bad. I'm like, yeah, I want one. Then I started hearing stories about other people like returning them because shit was happening. I took it home. I'm like, I want one, but I'm not doing it. I can't. It's like, so yeah, that kind of broke. Like he said, like he gave bottles to other people and shit would happen at their house and they'd bring them back. Like everything was just kind of being returned to them because this the mojo that came with that place. And I don't know. John does.
Be about a year or so ago, not even that long ago. A few months ago, I was up at Molly Stark, and a windstorm and everything and went through a couple of days before. There was a bunch of clutter and stuff outside the children's building. And there was this old film reel that was just sitting outside the building.
Oh, crazy.
And I'm like, you know what? Someone's going to take this and just absolutely destroy this thing.
Yeah, probably.
So I actually took it, put it in my car, never took it into my house or anything. But I actually donated it to Stephen Hummel's museum.
Oh, sweet, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Chilling down at the archive right now.
That's cool.
Actually, that's cool.
I have another item from there for him too.
Cool, man. Well, that's a great way to do it then. I mean, that's cool.
Steve and I go way back as well. He's a really, really good guy. You guys have had the honor of meeting him or not, but
yeah, we had him on the show a couple of times actually. We had him one time by himself, and then we had him with a couple of his crew from Paranormal Quest.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a great show, and I got to get down there. And check that museum out, man. That looks amazing.
He has a Haunted Relics Con, is what he's calling it. It's November 4th. He's actually having it in Townsville. And oh gosh, I forget the lineup. Les Odell, I think Kayla Simonson's going to be on there.
Oh, okay.
And a couple others. Runs like 12 to 8. So
cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll be in Florida.
No, my condolences.
Yeah, and we'll be at the Lake County Historical Society, I think, the same weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I forgot. I have to go to Florida that weekend.
Whatever. You missed it last year.
But I knew like way ahead of time. It's not like I just like, oh, I forgot I'm going to Maine or whatever. Or I forgot I'm having a surgery. Like
it wasn't even until I told my husband about it. And then he was like, when are you doing that? And I told him the date and he was like, so you're not going to Florida? And I'm like, oh shit. You're right.
Dennis, yes, there's two places. One is, of course, Molly Stark. I will always feel an attraction to that place. And the other is the entire village of Hanoverton.
Wow. Okay.
And I don't know. There's not a lot of people that know about Hanoverton. I know Eddie's been wanting to go. John's been wanting to go. Hanoverton is a little tiny village located south of Salem. Town of like 400 people now. At its peak, it actually had 500 people.
Ooh,
Old Canal. I think I've investigated seven different buildings there. And just the activity in every single one is just absolutely off the hook. That's also where the cemetery is that I had my first experience into.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
There's like actual tunnel system under the roads there. They used it to transport slaves.
Wow.
Another fact too, I know even up towards Cleveland, there's the Ohio and Erie Canal, this, that, and the other. For every 6 to 10 feet of canal is one dead Irish canal worker.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a crazy statistic.
Yeah. So the Ohio and Erie Canal, Sandy and Beaver, all those canals, 6 to 10 feet, one dead worker.
That's crazy.
It wasn't just from blasting and everything else. A lot of them were actually from mule kicks to the head.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever they'd blast for the tunnels, if a donkey's ears, I believe this is how this goes, if a donkey's ears would actually touch a ceiling, like anything, they wouldn't go any further. If you tried to force them through, they would actually kick backwards.
Oh, wow.
So One wrong play. Yeah.
All right.
They're not. I mean, they're driven by instinct. They're not. You can't just be like, oh, it's okay. It's you're not gonna get stuck, or
and,
they just survival mode. Yeah.
I'm not sure what John was referring to.
He is talking about the dolls that are in the archive of the afterlife.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, John and Eddie were actually, I don't know if I can tell this story. John, tell me to shut the fuck up. Hell up, sorry.
Why you keep apologizing?
John, tell me to shut up. But I guess John had some very, very, very dolls that he gave to Eddie that actually gave to Steve, or Eddie gave them to John, or I forget the whole story.
I remember John buying them, and I didn't know until Eddie or they both told me that he had to give them to Eddie to get rid of them because nasty shit was attached. And I'm glad they ended up where they did.
Yeah. Yep. It's kind of funny. We get something that just scares the shit out of us. We're like, here, Steve, here you go, have it.
Oh, that's what I mean. He has that. That's his function now.
It is.
Which is totally fine.
There's about 5 people, probably a little bit more than 5. I'd say 5 to 10 people that I have all the love for in the world in this field, and Steve is definitely one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Steve way back in the beginning when I first started ghost hunting at West Virginia Penitentiary. He gave the probably longest, like, pre-investigative tour I've ever been on, but it was he's just an amazing guy. But it didn't feel that long until we got back and looked at the class. He's just like so excited about it, He's just
that would be my favorite. Oh my god!
It's like the first time I did the show, like, was that time because we're like talking to each other and like I'm asking him questions and he's telling us stories, and it's like, oh man, that'd be so cool. They get back and it's like a quarter of our time's up already. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
We had him on the show. He's an awesome guy. I talk to him every once in a while when I can.
That's my favorite, man. Remember when we went to that place that shall not be named? And you guys were all making fun of me because I'm like right up in the front of the tour, like, oh, tell me more.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're going to break out into the Grease song there for a second.
Well, I mean, it also depends on like the tour guide. Like, I mean, if they're like he was like, and he knows pretty much the history of Cleveland in all aspects.
Yeah.
Right.
And Put-in-Bay, and like pretty much, I don't know. I think he knows all the history in the world. He's like, he knows a little bit about everything, but
he knows a lot of stuff down my way too. I was very surprised, like whenever we were all up there, talking to him, like you guys were investigating for like a half hour or so, and we were dallying back and forth about like Beaver Creek State Park and the Legend of Gretchen and a couple other things. I'm like, and I know this is gonna upset anyone from my area that's watching this, but I had no idea that Gretchen Gill was not even a child or a person. She was actually a mule.
Oh, wow.
I don't know who that is, but
Goose knows Gretchen's Lock. Yeah, she was actually a mule.
Yeah.
Like
I worked for Martin Transport, which is a big trucking company. And I had a lot of guys that came out of Youngstown, especially, and Eddie knows what I'm talking about because his place worked on a lot of our trucks. But they all were always telling me about Gretchen's location and locations down there, and just one of those things I got down there to do. I mean,
and it's a mule. People thought it was like a little girl or something.
Yeah, that's how the story went. She was actually a mule after that individual did a bunch of research on everything. Yeah. And I know it's good. People like to hold on to their legends and everything, but you have to go with the true facts at some point, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of ran into the same thing, and not nearly as big of a reveal as that was, but just doing some simple research, you can find out a lot. I mean, without even cracking a book in a library, I did some research on Shalersville Historical Society. Everybody was like, oh, okay, this is the guy that built this house at this date. And I'm like, And I'm like looking at like actual like birth certificates and shit, trying to figure like just do some fact checking because I was bored at the time too. But I'm also working on a book for Portage County, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense because if this was built by this guy at this time, he would have been like 2 years old. So that the math doesn't do it.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky in the fact that when I take that information to the Historical Society, they're like, really? That is really interesting. And they go back and they check the work and they're like, you were absolutely right. So
that's
now,
cool.
they're changing everything. So that's, I mean, it feels good, but not as big as like thinking a donkey was a child, but it's just people got to tread carefully when they listen to some of these historical facts.
And that's also another one in Hanoverton, the story of Christina Sloan. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one or not. She was the witch of Hanoverton.
Now that I've heard of.
Yeah. Turns out she actually wasn't even a witch. She was basically an abandoned child who was illegitimate and knew who her father was, and she was actually not murdered but accidentally killed, and then they actually used witchcraft to cover it up because the father was a very, very, very prominent figure in the village.
Yeah, they used to love to drop that at a dime. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
obviously, when women get out of place and they have their own opinion, obviously it's witchcraft.
Right. Clearly.
But
I still use that with my wife. I'm like, I don't know what kind of spell you're trying to pull on me right now, or like, what is this dark magic?
Yeah.
John, yeah.
I think, anybody who has anything to do with a certain place that we all know and love knows exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Without bringing that drama again. Sidebar real quick. I want to go back to Steve. Steve Cross is actually the guy who started this show. That's Big Steve. That's my brother, Ariston Weiner. As things kind of transformed, he gave the honor of letting me take over the show when he had some stuff to deal with. He just wanted to be with family and all that. I just want to shout out if everybody can give his son a quick prayer. He's going through some health stuff and is in the hospital at the moment. So if you guys keep him in your thoughts and your prayers, I'd appreciate that for Steve. So Steve, I love you, and I hope your son's all good, bud.
Yep, we got you, bud.
Oh, Holly's on. There she is. Hey, Holly. Holly. Come here.
Hi, Holly.
Shut up. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Back to false history. It's a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a few places I could just like listen to the tour and like see right through. That just does not make sense.
Yeah.
And just from all of the research, I'm not a history major. I didn't, whatever, but I just really retain knowledge. Like when somebody tells me the history of something, like I really pick up on a lot of it. And you go into places and they'll tell you something and you're like literally everything I've learned points to the fact that that's not true, and it's so hard for me not to say anything. And it's not even like a petty thing. Like, I just want to tell them that they're wrong. But at the same time, like, this is such a controversial field. What we do is so controversial. We can't have people going around acting like idiots or saying, wrong history or just things that don't make sense. We're already walking on eggshells all the time. We need to make sure we're doing everything perfectly.
Right. I completely agree.
Yeah.
And as people who are doing it, especially like the Mad Crew, I mean, you guys have like taken ownership of that. I mean, the way you guys have dived into that deep the deep depths of that. I mean, that Madison Seminary is like a book in of itself. I mean, there's so many chapters and so many stories. It's crazy.
Yeah.
To keep that, I mean, every time I go back to help with tours, I feel like I'm completely lost because somebody has unearthed something new, and all the old stories are like added to these new stories. And like, I'll push, I'll follow the group, I'll play security guard. I still have not learned all of it.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of investigating.
I mean, we never will.
Before Adam owned it. And the stories were way different then.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, yeah. Right. I think I waited 10 years before I went back to that place, and now I just can't get enough of it.
When going back to Dennis's question about things, places that stick with you and you feel like called back to all the time, Madison Seminary was probably one of the third or fourth places what I investigated when I started this back in I don't know, it was like 2000. When was my daughter born? 2007. So it was like 2005. So about when I started like actively investigating. And I went there, and then since then I was going there at least twice a year. I went there more than I can count before Adam even took over the place. And now that I know the history and seeing all the changes, and it's basically like a living museum now. It's like now you can't help but, I mean, you have to. I mean, I wanted to go every day back then. Now it's like I just sit and like when I'm seeing people do stuff and like Adam shares the videos of like the tours and stuff going on, and I'm just like sitting there like, God damn it, I get jealous. Like it's that hardcore. Like I want to be there. It sucks.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing place. That's one of those places that calls back to me. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
I just like going back to analyze that certain girl up on the third floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Denise knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That bitch.
Do I know what you're talking about?
That bitch up on the
Zach
third floor.
Her name's Sarah. It's Sarah.
Oh, yeah, of course. I thought but I don't want to sound stupid.
I don't even refer to her by name. And it's really funny. Whenever I did my solo there for my YouTube, I told Shelly before we even walked into the building, I'm like, look, on the tour, we're not going to talk about her. We're not going to say her name. We're not even going to go to her room. And right at the end of the tour, I'm like, all right, let's go over here. And, I walked in her room and everything, and I'm like, you know what? This room gives me the creeps. I really don't like it. So I actually shut both of her doors and investigated that place for about 5 hours after that.
Holy crap.
Nothing happened.
Oh, and we forgot to open the doors after that.
Like, nothing happened. Everything was quiet. Like, it was, no pun intended, it was dead.
Nope.
And we went back through, and I had Shelly go in with me. Kind of defeated my premise of my YouTube, which was solo investigating, but she was around the corner back by the steps just in case stuff did go awry.
Right.
Open the door, like I just felt the rush, the energy, and like it hit me the instant I opened that door. Nothing worked. Fat box didn't work. Spirit box didn't work. Cat balls didn't work. Like nothing worked at all.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. Like just how that place can be if you truly, totally ignore her existing. That place just changes. Hey Jeff, how are you? Heisenberg, happy birthday, buddy. Go get some cold cuts and cold Pepsi.
Yes. I'm like, what? Must be having a boring party if you're watching the show.
I know. But, and that's
just want to make sure we weren't talking shit.
Right.
And that's just like Fairfield too. Like if you ignore a certain superintendent there, stuff's either really, really quiet, and then if you start acknowledging him, stuff starts to get a little bit crazy.
Right.
So.
Right.
I always tell people at Madison, if you want an active investigation, just play the game. If you walk in and you're like, "Hey, Sarah, I came to talk to you. Here's a doll. Here's $1, whatever." Like, you'll get more activity. I mean, you just got to play the game.
Right.
Next time I'm in Madison, there's a certain Dr. Spirit up in the asylum I need to go back and tantalize, though.
Yeah, I get in trouble when I do that, so.
Yeah.
We had some activity in that area with her when my kids were, and your kids were up there investigating.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was pretty interesting. My daughter telling us to get out of the room and be quiet. She was getting pissed for talking so much. So we went into the room across from Sarah's room, and she's like asking the spirits to do stuff. She's like, "Can you shut the door?" Well, nobody's in that room. Nothing happens in the room she's in where Sarah's room is. But where I'm at, I'm actually in the closet talking through that little window to my daughter who's on the other side. And as she asked that, the door to the closet starts closing. As I'm standing inside of it, I'm like, "What the hell? Wrong door, man.
Wrong door."
Yeah. But those are big, heavy doors. Those just don't, shut by themselves. So, I don't know. It was interesting, if anything else.
Yeah.
I will say, I actually walked away from an investigation for the first time since 2009 this year.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Down at a Prospect Place. I was out in the barn by myself. Sage and the others who were with us, they'd actually went back to the hotel for something, so I was there by myself. We're out in the barn, or I was, at Phasmobox running. I heard a very, very loud, thud right next to me. Sound like something punched the stall.
No shit.
And then I kept looking up in the rafters, and I could see this weird little face thing up there. And then I felt something try to crawl into my ear. And I went this real quick, shoved my finger in my ear. If it was a bug, it would have, been all over me. But nothing was there. And then right after that, through the Phasmobox, deep, dark, scary-ass voice, "Gonna get in ya."
Ew.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm like, okay. I went packed up.
I'm out this bitch.
I'm like, I'm not up to getting possessed tonight.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
Have a good night, Jeff, man.
Have a good night, Jeff. Take care, buddy. But yeah,
that's gross.
It was that freaks me out more than at Madison a few years ago, whenever I was there with Scott McCafferty and Alyssa and Crystal. Denise, I think you were there that night.
Yeah.
Where I'd actually gotten taken over and remember nothing of what happened for 12 minutes.
Where were you?
We were down in the whole room, actually.
Oh, okay.
Down in Madison. Yeah.
That's happened to me a couple times there. That's the only place that's ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird experience. I don't enjoy it. I don't recommend it. It does not recommend.
Because you're out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't remember anything, and then when I come to, I'm in a completely different area of the building or the room, and people are saying, "You said this, you did this, you threw a punch, you did this." I'm like, "What the no." No, I mean, I don't want to believe it's possession. I definitely feel like I got absorbed by something.
Mm-hmm.
I maybe, and especially for that certain time, that one time where I did the punch thing, I think I opened that up. I think I opened that door for them to that negative energy to come in. So
I just have to comment on the fact that you said when I did the punch thing, obviously you're not a violent person because you said I did the punch thing.
Yeah. When I tried to kick Heisenberg's ass. No.
Yeah.
I don't think Heisenberg was even there. It was with our original group before I even started or we joined Dark Alley, and Mike was with us. But yeah. Not a good feeling.
Actually called Eddie that night that happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep. Fun times. Fun times.
It's a crazy building. That's probably, of every place I've been, like physically or like psychologically or whatever you want to call it, spiritually, that's probably been the most active in scary ways and in amazing ways at the same time. It could be very dark. It could be very pleasant and relaxing. It's like, it really depends on what energy you take in with you when you go in there.
Yeah.
The old Sedhamsville Rectory, that place, went there twice times.
Yeah.
No, not fun.
I never got the chance to go down there, and I know I don't think they even have it open for paranormal.
I think they
anymore.
sold it.
Yeah.
That place gave, like, there's some places, like, I try to do every location at least twice, because not every investigation is going to be the same. But Sedhamsville, after I went there twice, I'm like, I'm not going back there. Lime Elementary, Sandusky, I went there about 3 times. I think that place sold. I don't ever want to go back there.
Yeah.
Broughton Elementary down in Pittsburgh area, no bueno. There's a couple of undisclosed locations. One is near Maslin, and another is in Minerva. I've done those 5 or 6 times, and I'll probably, the property owner of the one here in Minerva has actually contacted me asking me to come back, and I'm like, buddy, I'm not going to come back. He's like, I'll take you back. I'm like, I don't take money to do that.
No,
like,
no.
I'm not. No. Absolutely not.
The only thing we accept on this show is room and board if we decide to like go to a con and like they want us to be a guest. You know what I mean? We never, for investigations though, no, I never take any money.
Yeah. I tell them I accept pizza, and that's about it.
I mean, you want to feed me some dinner. I'm not going to say no to that. Like, supply me with some water. And hey, a bathroom and some heat in the winter would be nice, but you can't always win that big.
But like, even the that I do, like, all of the money and stuff I get from them, like 10% of it goes to me. The rest goes back to various groups in Hanoverton.
Yeah. That's cool.
10% of it, it's just gas and vehicle upkeep, really, and it's in its own account.
That's awesome, man. It's a good deal. Because I mean, you are putting in the work. It's not like you're just there to play around and have fun.
Right.
There's a lot involved with that. When we ran the ghost hunts for Barberton Historical Society, Anna Dean, he always asked me, he's like, if you guys want to keep like a couple bucks out of each ghost hunt, that's fine. I'm like, I don't live that far away. I'm only like 15 minutes from here, so it's not like it's a big deal. And with Shalersville Historical Society, I find it an honor to be like do whatever for them, and like they let us investigate there by ourselves all the time, pretty much at the drop of a hat. If I ask them today, you mind if we stop up by tomorrow? Can somebody open it for us? He'd be like, yeah, sure, no problem.
Anna Dean, I remember that place. I went up there. Oh gosh. After my daughter was born, I want to say it was like 2010, 2011.
Okay.
And that was an interesting place, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, because the places we were in, we were only in the barn, like 3 of the barns, but the piggery was cool just because it was a nice big open space. It was a good place to like meet, and he gave us access to like the newer part of the building and like like the basement area, obviously where the big tunnels were. That place was kind of give or take, depending on the night. The barn, the horse barn. I thought that building was just. It was the one that's like it was just felt so out of place because it's like in the middle of all those mansions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you go in there. It's like closer to where the actual Barber mansion used to be, and that place we always had some crazy activity. Like our group we would hang out there most of the night if we could. And then there was the what was it called? The feed barn, which was just a little 2-floor barn. We had some activity there. The most active barn was the heating house, which was on the corner of the main road, kind of like right around the corner from the pig barn. That place, though, was such a pain in the ass when we were taking it over because there was this back and forth between a developer, a realty developer that was trying to do something with the place, but wasn't doing anything with it. But he kept changing the locks. He was just leasing it out. The Historical Society still owned it, but he didn't want people in there ghost hunting. But they would put their lockbox on it, give me the code. So then we went there, we took a group there to ghost hunt, we could get in. And like almost every other time we go there, we wouldn't be able to get in. And I'm like, it pissed me off because that was the most interesting place. I mean, we've heard disembodied voices there. Those big steel doors on that big boiler that ran the whole farm, that supplied heat to the whole farm, that 2 people had to run 24/7 in shifts to keep that thing running. In the middle of the night, while you're just standing there, you'd hear one of those steel doors shut. And you go down there and they'd all still be wide open. That's not just something that you hear. You know what I mean? It's like very loud. It's right next to you. But you're not seeing anything. It's just... And again, it's just another one of those... As much as it is awesome to be able to have that access and work with the Historical Society, sometimes it can be just a royal pain in the ass, too. It wasn't even their fault, but there's nothing they could do about it. It was back and forth with this guy. But now there's no paranormal, there's no ghost hunting going on there at all. Because what's that?
I was gonna ask what actually ended up happening to it, but it looks like you're going in, so.
Yeah, Steve, who was the guy he's basically him and his 2 of the other they founded the society. They're the ones who saved those buildings from destruction. And there's several barns that were actually bought and repurposed into, like, one was a schoolhouse and actually a really nice daycare, like top of the line, really nice daycare. The other one was turned into a business, a very well operated business. But he passed away like 2 or 3 years ago. And once he passed away, the rest of the Historical Society came in. I don't know what they do with the horse barn or the feed barn. The heating barn or the heating house that I know of is just still sitting there, being undeveloped, just sitting there. And the pig barn, they had somebody come in, they completely redid the inside. It looks beautiful. I mean, I know, and they're using it as an event space, like for weddings and stuff. And I know they're making good money off that for the Historical Society, which is that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And I get it. And we would have, we were still there as they were starting that work. And I was very like, look, listen, if you guys have an event, we won't schedule a ghost hunt. We'll work with whoever. And Steve was fine with it. But once he passed away, that was the end of that. It's like 2 people out of the whole team were with us. And actually, like, he came to us looking for that help. But
yeah. That sucks, though. But
yeah, because it was a gem. I just posted the other day on YouTube the video, or when I was on Channel 8 News, they were talking about local historical haunted places, and that was like years and years ago. But it was a nice place. I hate when that happens, but from a business standpoint, I guess I understand too. But it was a good moneymaker. I'm not huge moneymaker, but I think any funds for Historical Society is funds.
Right.
That they didn't have before. So, and we volunteered there too. We did a lot of like just labor around the barns, painting and cleaning and doing whatever we could to help, just like the man crew does up at Madison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys did a lot for that place, because I remember the condition and stuff that it was in the first couple of times I was there, and I'm like, wow. Like, yeah.
Are you talking about Madison or Anadine?
You're talking about Madison?
Anadine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Madison, too. I mean, from when the previous owners had it to after Adam took it over, the difference was insane.
It was just basically storage by the point right before Adam bought it. I mean, it was just and half of it was flooded, and they just shut it off. Like they just, look, we're not going to deal with this. We're just going to like make sure nobody goes down there.
Close the door.
Right. And then Adam comes in, cleans that out, reopens it, opens up a whole nother side that nobody was allowed into before. The basement on the cottage side. So it's like, I don't know, improvements all around. It was amazing. I was so happy when that happened.
Yeah.
I still have to get down to Fairfield and investigate. Haven't been down there yet.
It's crazy to me.
Definitely.
The last 4 or 5 years have not been great ghost hunting adventure years for me. It's just been like this show and like going to Madison every once in a while. But other than that, I've been really pretty stale. I got to get back at it.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, man.
We traveled more during COVID than any other time.
Yeah. Well, you were breaking up. I'm sorry, Denise. What did you say?
I said I think I traveled more during COVID than any other time. I got so much investigating done.
Yeah.
Yep, because no one was out and about. But this is right though. There's like this Quad County area down here of Columbiana, Stark, Carroll, and Tuscarawas County that are just like untapped gold mines where there's so much potential down here. Yeah. Like the village of Zor. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or not.
Yeah.
It's basically like Hanoverton 2.0. Like,
oh wow.
It's amazing. Malvern, another very, very small town, probably like 1,000 people there now. All sorts of stuff. Atwood Lake area, Carrollton, like there's just so much shit down here that's just untapped. And then even down towards like Cambridge, where there's an old nursing home down there that I had the privilege of investigating called the Bell Nursing Home. This was about 10 years ago down in Kimball.
Oh yeah.
That place.
I had that place was awesome, man. I did several years ago, I did a fundraiser where I just went in and I, as best as I could, because there's like really no internet connection down there. But I did just me, did a ghost hunt all night. Well, it was amazing after I stopped trying to live stream and like just gave up on the whole thing. But raised a lot of money, which is cool, and I got some stuff in. But that building was just unbelievable. And then we had an actual convention there for the same fundraiser the year after, and the old owner, she was just amazing. Just like, here, take it. Don't worry about paying me anything. Just raise as much as you can for MS. And I'm like, that's awesome. And we actually did really well. And we had like Michelle Bellinger down there and Daniel Klaus was down there. I mean, it was a good time, and they stuck around for the ghost hunt, and people really got a lot out of that.
Yep.
So and now I don't.
It sold back in June or July, I want to say. It was actually
it did.
For auction. I drove by there, and there's some action going on there, but I don't know what they're doing.
I'd love to know. And I was really close friends with Betsy, who was one of the helpers. She lived like right down the street, and she passed away like last year, which was really like hardcore for me because we were close friends after her helping me out with all that. Matter of fact, I adopted one of her parents' puppies that it was like the runt of the litter, and she'd given it to her niece who wasn't taking care of it, and she's like, you know anybody that wants a Yorkie Poo puppy? I'm like, yeah, we'll take it. She's like, yeah. So we were like on the way back from Florida from vacation, and we stopped there because we kind of like passed right by it. And yeah, I picked. But yeah, there was just it's a sad. It was sad. I'm glad somebody's doing something to it, even if it's not paranormal, because that building was amazing.
It was. Yeah. Yeah, I was actually looking into I was gonna try and buy it and everything, but just stuff happened in my personal life, and know.
Yep. Like I don't know how much they were asking for it, but
it wasn't much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I threw it out at Adam, and I think Natalie may have been asking too much for it as a private sale, but I'm sure whoever got it from the bank got it for a dime.
Yeah.
That whole street, like that brick house right across the ways, I would just when I was taking, a smoke break from investigating the Bell, I'd just sit there and just watch that house. Just like I just felt energy coming from that house too. Like I wanted to get in there so bad.
Yeah. Dennis mentioned Salineville.
Yeah.
Salineville, that is about 15-20 minutes south of Lisbon here over in Columbiana County.
Okay.
Salineville is an interesting area. You just gotta watch out for the random self-medicating doctor, to put it in a certain way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah. They yeah, some of them don't like to. They have the feeling that your stuff is their stuff to sell.
Gotcha.
Trying to put it professionally.
Oh, no. Yeah, sorry to hear about that, Eddie, man. I've been keeping him in my thoughts, dude. Yeah, dogs. I mean, dogs are hard to lose. I mean, they're part of the family.
Yeah.
But I know just we do what we can for them. Keep them healthy.
Yep.
They will bankrupt you. I know that.
I had to put Winston down back in April. I took him to the vet clinic up there in Copley.
Yeah.
Which was a drive. I was feeding him his favorite hot dogs and bologna for his last ride up.
Oh.
Have his paw print and everything here.
Okay. That was just in Copley today for work.
Yeah, and then I have his collar hanging on the wall back here.
Yep. Yeah, we always get the paw print. We had it from the first dog we lost, and then when we lost Luna, our lab, that was probably the hardest one because she was with us when we got her when my daughter would like turn 2, and Luna was 2, so she was with our family the longest out of all of them, and she lived till she was 14. Then she just couldn't take anymore.
Yeah, Winston was 11. I got him when my daughter was about 6 or 7 months. And my son was born a couple of years later. That's the only pet that they've known, and
oh wow,
they're just devastating. Yeah. Like all three of us, like we couldn't walk by his for a few weeks after. Like we'd walk by where he slept and everything. Like I would walk by like this, trying not to look. And
yeah. So Luna outlived the dog that our second dog. We've always had like 2 dogs. After Luna, we got a second dog a couple years after that. And this was kind of like a charity case.
Mm-hmm.
The rescue we got Luna from like actually contacted us, and she's like, we have these what kind of dog was it? Oh my god, Springer Spaniels. I love Springer Spaniels. But this lady, she was like elderly. She was like in her 80s, and these dogs were supposed to be show dogs, but she couldn't take care of them. They were basically lived in the cage for like the first 5 years of their life, only to be let out to go to the bathroom and eat, and then back in the cage. So it's horrible. Actually, Denise is having some technical issues. She completely lost her internet, which I just saw on my phone. So she's probably not going to be back on. So we're going to be ending the show here shortly. But I don't want to rush because we got till 10 o'clock. But that was the first dog that I ever took myself to be put down, and that was the worst experience of my life.
Yeah,
it was the hardest thing I ever had at that point. I'd ever had to deal with. I mean, just and I was like, the doctor was so nice. She was like, "Are you okay?" She was like helping me walk out because I'm like all like distraught, and she was like hugging me and like, I'm so sorry. And I think I sat in the parking lot for like an hour afterwards, just losing my mind. Because him and I were real close. We were definitely the buddies, but yeah, Shelly, it is probably the operator. I don't think D Unit knows what she's doing.
Shelly, what's up? We were talking about you a little bit ago as well, mentioning the solo that I did at Madison, and talking about that bitch up on the 3rd floor.
Madison is an amazing place, man. I could do whole shows just talking about experiences there.
Oh, definitely.
It's awesome.
Madison, I could talk for about 2 hours there.
Oh yeah.
But Hanoverton, like, my average ghost walk there is usually about an hour and a half that I actually host.
Oh wow, okay.
I gave a private one, and just with everything that's up here about that little village of 400 people, I made a ghost walk last 6 hours. Just
that is nuts, man. That's a long time.
Yeah, like, and it was all people that I knew. There was a couple of the Small Town Monsters crew was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth is another guy I'd love to have on the show.
Seth is a good guy.
Yeah.
But him and Courtney,
and he's local too.
Yeah. He's up your way.
Yep.
But they're always out filming.
Oh, yeah.
They were just in Texas doing Goatman and stuff, I think it was.
Yeah. Yep. And their documentaries are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're very like, when I've talked to Seth and I've seen him do like his lectures and stuff, he's very like, this is not something I actually do myself. It's like, he gets on a topic and he starts interviewing people and filming in those areas. And it's like, they're amazing. They're very informative. And like, you get a lot of different ideas and opinions. And, I love watching him. He's really good at what he does. His whole team, just unreal.
Yeah.
Hey, Disbelief Paranormal, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, his funny story. His historian and I, Heather, we're actually really pretty good friends.
Oh, okay.
I started referring to her as Elmo about 2 or 3 years ago. We were just bantering back and forth, and she was like, "You're gonna make me mad." I'm like, "Heather, honey, you're about as threatening as Elmo," and the nickname just stuck.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're all good people though.
Yeah.
Heather's good, Courtney's great, Seth and the guys. Their first episode that they did was in the search of spirits or paranormal or whatever they did was actually in Everton.
Okay. Oh, cool.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to get down there and check that out, man. I mean, I've heard things about it. Yeah. Yep. Next year's the year. I've been saying that for years, but like next year, I'm taking time. I'm doing things because next year I don't have like much vacation coming to me, so I'm taking these weekends and I'm doing what I need to do. I'm gonna get more involved where I can and definitely visit some more places. You don't have to leave Ohio. You really don't. There's so many amazing places.
Yeah, just like Dennis was saying, like this. Yeah. This whole area down this way, like it's not far from Cleveland or even Madison. Maybe an hour and a half. Just go up 534.
Yeah, Madison only takes me barely an hour to get up there, so it's not bad at all.
When I lived in Lisbon, it was about an hour and a half, and it was the most boring effing drive ever because it's Route 11 from Lisbon.
Oh my God! Yeah.
And Route 11 between Youngstown and Ashtabula, you want to put one in your head about 5 minutes into that drive because it's nothing. It's terrible and disgusting and just
It's like a horror movie that's taking way too long to get started.
Yeah.
It's like look around. There's nobody around you. It's like because I took that way. we take that way to get up to the Knickerbocker Hotel, and once you get off 11, then you're in backcountry for I don't know however long you are until you finally get into that area. It's like, oh my god, Linesville.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Route 11. Yeah.
Not a fun drive. I've done it a couple times, but I couldn't imagine having to do it every day.
Like at least between like the Canfield exit on 224 and East Liverpool, like at least there's turns here and there and hills and the occasional tree. But
right.
Yeah. And I use that because I work down in East Liverpool, so I used to use that road to get to work all the time. But
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
Now I zigzag through on a couple of the country back roads.
Yeah.
And I swear I'm going to smash Bambi one of these nights.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't yet.
Yeah, there's a slight bend. Yeah.
After you get off 11, you're right by me.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting you moved out there. The Knickerbocker's amazing. It's another one of my favorite spots. Because it's another one that I did. So one spot that I did like early on, in my ghost hunting career. Quote unquote. But yeah, it's a great place. Pegnick is awesome. Love her to death. She's very welcoming when you go there. Always had a good time. Always had something to come home to talk about.
Right.
About activity. Just disembodied voices like crazy, and yeah, good stuff there. But I think we're gonna I think it's about time to call it. I guess let's see what Eddie had to say real quick. Yes, dude, Hotel Conneaut. That's another place I need to get to. Mm-hmm. And I'm like friends with so many people that have connections there, especially like my girl Angel Val. I love her to death, and she's like her grandma worked there. I mean, she has a deep connection there. She keeps telling me like, yeah, let's go, and it's like, oh, again, these last couple of years, man. Like, if I have to plan on doing anything more than an hour away, it's gonna be a while. But it's part of being work in healthcare, I guess. Just by the end of the week, I'm just done. It takes a lot of energy out of me.
The best thing I ever did was get out of working healthcare.
Yeah. I mean, what? Yeah, I just, I started it during the pandemic, so it's, obviously it was almost immediately burnout, but we're not too bad. I mean, I work a straight 8 hours a day. I mean, every once in a while I'll have like a weird day where I have to work a couple hours over, but it's not too horrible, and I'm getting used to it. Everything's routine. And honestly, I'm out of management now, so I get my route during the day, and whatever comes to me my way during the day, it gets done. It gets taken care of.
Yeah.
And I get to help people along the way. And I got a lot of patients that I see on a regular basis that are, close friends. But then, it gets stressful when they pass away for whatever reason. But, it's just, it's rough, but it is rewarding at the same time. And I have the luck of working for Cleveland Clinic, which is, a better hospital.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not too bad, but it does impede on ghost hunting time.
Yeah.
And, obviously, being a father and dad, which that is always the priority. That you don't even ask me if something's going on, that I got to be there for the kids or the family. There's no question. That's not something I'd even sweat about. That's the way it is. That's what I signed up for. But
right.
Next year, man. Definitely next year, maybe even hopefully by the end of this year, we can get together and do something, even if it's just meeting at Madison to help out with a guided tour or whatever we can do. I'd like to see you again and work with you.
Definitely.
That'd be awesome. Get the old band back together.
Yeah. It just sucks because I'm usually closing down at work. We close the store at 8 o'clock at night. And it's down out of East Liverpool. So, like, time I get to Madison, it's damn near 10, 11 o'clock.
Yep. Yeah, I hear you.
Fairfield, it'd be 11.
Yeah. I made the mistake of trying to go to Old Licking one time right after work, like literally leaving the parking lot at 6:30. And of course, that was one of my long nights. I didn't get down there to almost freaking like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And I was like, I was dead by the time I got down there. And I was with John and Shelly was down there. I mean, I had a great time. I always have a great time down there. And we had some interesting things happening, but like I got down there super late and I was done in like 2 hours. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And I know the feeling, man.
Whatever it is about that drive down to that whole general area, like, Licking County and Brindle and Prospect Place, just whatever it is about the drive to that area, it's just draining in itself.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
well, there's sections of Ohio that are amazing. Like driving, like if you're like driving the 534 up to Madison, it's a beautiful drive, But then you have the flat, nothing but cornfield parts of Ohio, which is basically what you drive to get down there, and it's like, by the time you get down there, you're just done.
Yep, and like if you go to any of the Indiana locations, like Randolph County and all those places, like once you get past Columbus, you're just going to see corn.
Oh yeah, yep.
I went to college. My first college was Bowling Green, and God, I remember driving up there and hating it all the time.
Oh yeah, that's a weird drive too, man.
Yeah.
Yep. I went out to one of Austin Maynard's properties. I think it was Middletown or Midpoint School.
Middle Point, yeah.
School. Middle Point, yeah.
Yeah.
I went out there, and that was another like, oh my God, am I there yet?
Yeah.
I don't know. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's always worth the drive. So
yeah.
Yeah, I hate mountains too, man. I got lost on my way to how was it? Trans-Allegheny, and ended up like driving some backwoods mountain road. And it was nothing but curves, like you couldn't see what was coming around the bend. And at the same time, there's construction going on. And there's people that are supposed to be like guiding traffic or like watching, with the signs and stuff. They're just sitting there on the side of the road. And I could have swore the guy was drinking a Busch Light or something. Just sitting there in a lawn chair with this thing, not paying attention to what was going on. And there were so many near-death experiences coming around those corners with construction trucks taking up the whole road coming the other way. It's like, well.
Yeah. I'll say this before we head off of here. People give West Virginia a bad rep, but honestly, West Virginia is probably the most beautiful state in the U.S.
Absolutely, dude. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. That little section from 79 to the Ohio River and then 64 to the north, like that little section of West Virginia is just amazing. Not only for the views and the mountains. Sorry, Eddie.
I lost your audio. I don't know what happened. What the hell? Hold on.
I can hear myself.
All right, hold on. I don't know what's happening. I lost my audio. It's on my end, though.
Okay.
Oh, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Yeah. Like, not only just for, like, the views and everything in the mountains. Again, sorry, Eddie.
Yeah.
But just, like, the paranormal places, like,
Oh, yeah.
All through, even, like, over to Marietta. Like, there's just 3 places right down there in Marietta. Just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Huntington and Charleston have some great places.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'd like to get out to Sweet Springs Sanatorium too and check that place out. I mean, there's a couple places that have popped up on the radar the last like year or so that I never knew existed that I need to get down there and check out. One of them's Crescent. Is that West Virginia or Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
Okay. So yeah, I just like that's part of getting to know new people, new groups, and seeing where they go. Shelley said Sweet Springs is amazing. Yeah, and we love the lady who runs it too. She's a great woman. One of our good friends. But yeah, it's so much to do, man. So little time.
I just can't handle the drives anymore. Like,
it's rough.
My early 20s, like, And I know I'm going to sound old. I mean, I'm only 36, but like, you know, it even going from 20s to 30s, I can imagine like in my 40s, I'm already like get off my effing lawn guy. But
yeah.
I remember, I think I was 20. I drove from where I lived. I went from Lisbon to Moundsville one night, and then Moundsville all the way to Villisca, Iowa the next night. Came back through and did Mansfield the night after that and came home.
Wow, dude, that's a lot.
Like three nights in a row. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And now I'm dead if I drive to like freaking Cleveland and back.
Like, yeah, right. Yeah, no, I hear you.
Like I went to went to the Guardians game whenever they played Tampa, not the playoff game, but one of the last regular season games, and just driving up there and back. I'm like, I'm dead. I'm not going to work tomorrow. I went.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much anytime I know I'm going to be driving over, because here's the thing, like 9 times out of 10, we don't spend the night anywhere. We come back home the same night because it's usually close enough. It's not a big issue. But like, I know if I'm going to be going anywhere, like if the drive is over 2 hours one way, especially coming back at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm packing my CPAP machine with the car adapter, and I'm finding a place to park and getting at least 4 to 5 hours of sleep before I can get back to where I need to be. It's just what it is, and there's plenty of places to pull off the side of the road. There's rest stops, whatever. You just be careful. My wife would rather I do that than trying to rush back home and just be safe.
Yeah,
she knows how I am. Like, yeah. Jerry did have one question real quick. What active places in New York? I think the only place I've been to is Hinsdale out that way.
New York has Wildwood, Hinsdale,
Wildwood. We're so good friends with them. I love those people to death.
Rolling Hills Asylum is amazing. Way back when you could actually get into the Buffalo Grand Central Terminal, that was a fun place.
Yes, I wonder what happened with that. I was good friends with Beyond Ghost crew for a while, and I haven't heard anything from them yet.
There's a lighthouse on Lake Ontario that's really, really. I haven't been there yet, but it looks absolutely amazing too. Like that whole part of the state.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do it or not anymore, but Letchworth Village.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. It was
New York's version of Penhurst, basically.
Right.
That
Penhurst is probably another one of those places I would never go back to. As much as I enjoyed it, I never felt so horribly in a bad like mental state after doing a ghost hunt. I mean, I was in a bad, like horrible depression funk for 2 weeks after that. I had to.
The community, whenever I worked healthcare, that's actually the community that I worked with.
Oh wow, okay.
Was the DD field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine. And like it was a weird connection too, because I found after the fact that my mom and dad, when they were in college, their choir used to go perform there when it was still a hospital. So it's like, you have that whole weird connection you didn't know about. But yeah, I was in bad shape after that investigation, and I ended up having a friend of mine who's really good with energy work, like help me for days, like remotely from her house. And yeah, that's rough, man. I probably will never go back there again.
2 of my residents that I used to actually take care of, they've long passed, actually came from Penhurst.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn. That was
you could tell too.
Oh really? Yeah. That was horrible. Like my mom said, she remembered it just even when they went, it was horrible conditions. I mean, just too many people there, just locked in basically cage cribs, and just she said it was. She said they hated going there, but they did it because they felt they were helping in some way. But I don't know. Well, on that note, let's see you guys later. No, always end out on a nice depressing note and then just leave them hanging. No, but I do want to thank you for coming on, man. We're gonna.
Hey, no problem.
end the show a little bit early tonight, but you were on longer than our normal interviews have been going. So thanks for hanging out. But it's just we're friends, so it's like easy for us just to like hang out and just talk about everything. So it's different than like when you have like whoever come on from whatever TV show and you kind of feel like you have to be beep 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 robot. But
yeah.
It was a good time, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. Super laid back and always a good time talking to you.
Yep.
Thank you, Tina. Since Heisenberg's not here, anything you want to promote or anything coming up that you would like us to be watching out for?
Wait till 2023.
Okay.
Like you and I talked before I came on.
Yeah.
Smoothed out.
Right.
Wait until March or April of 2023. Keep an eye out on YouTube. I do have a TikTok channel. It's Z's Expeditions. I just finished up a little Hanoverton Cemetery. Like I think I did about 5 or 6 very quick episodes, 3 to 5 minutes each. It's about like the history and the paranormal and stuff there. But
sweet.
Yeah, March, April 2023. I'm coming back, and I'm coming back with a vengeance. I've sat dormant for way too fucking long.
Oh yeah,
I haven't filmed anything well over a year and a half. I haven't done anything big in well over a year and a half. It's been
That's awesome, man.
Z's coming back.
I'm excited to see what happens, man. I'll be here rooting you on the whole way, supporting you any way we can. So you know where you can come promote whatever happens when it happens.
Yep. just some people care about numbers. Like I think my YouTube has 140 subscribers. I don't care.
Right.
I'm doing what I'm doing what makes you happy. Who cares?
Right.
Support's great, but if you're in it just for numbers and that's all that you care about, then you're not in it for the right reasons.
No, you're not. And you're just setting yourself up for
like I don't care if I've made a whole penny from all of my YouTube episodes. I've probably put in about $3,000 or $4,000 worth film and travel and everything else. Like if you just care about numbers, then this ain't it for you, buddy.
And that attitude, that having that attitude that you do eventually pays off. I mean, people see that you're in it because you love doing it, and that's a big draw. So, that's what
I know I can be sometimes abrasive. I've upset quite a few people. People just don't like to hear certain things.
Well, that's what's great about being human is having an opinion and being able to speak it out the way you want to. If they don't like it, they don't have to listen to it. So,
but I've always just tried to keep to myself, unless it's like that guy that John and I met at Molly Stark last week. It took everything in me to be quiet. Eddie, you would have had a freaking field day with this guy, dude. Like it took everything in me to be quiet. Like everything. And I'm usually I just had to walk away. Like,
I don't blame you. That's the only way to deal with it, man. It's the only way to deal with it. So again, thank you so much for coming on, everybody in the chat. Thanks for being and supporting us as usual, chatting away with us, telling your stories, and that's gonna wrap it for tonight, man. Thanks again so much.
Alrighty. Hey, anytime. Everyone watching, take care. Like I said, I have a TikTok channel on YouTube, Z's Paranormal Expeditions. Not a whole lot on there right now, but like I said, 2023, keep an eye out.
It's the big year for everybody, right? It's everybody.
Let's all get COVID again.
Oh, don't say that, man. All right, crypto heads, we will spook you later. You all have a great weekend. The Goose loves you, and I know D-Nice and Heisenberg love you. We'll see you again next week. Remember, since D-Nice isn't here to say it, don't be an asshole. All right? We love you guys.
Ray, shut up.
You son of a bitch.